Imagine a world where you never have to cancel a subscription again because your subscription adapts to you. Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, they've built their entire business models on recurring payments. But here's the truth. Consumers are tired of being locked in. Today, I sat down with Moran Mizrahi, the COO and co-founder of Rebilia, a platform that's disrupting the entire way we think about subscriptions. We talk about why customers are demanding more control, how businesses can actually increase revenue by giving customers more choice, and the future of industries like e-commerce, automotive, and even hospitality. If you run a business, this episode could completely change the way you think about growth. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, Moran. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Christina, for having me today. This is a great opportunity to spread the rumor about Rebilia and also help other founders with some insights. So thank you. My name is Moran. I'm the COO and co-founder of Rebilia platform. We are a subscription management platform handling any transaction that happen in more than one time. We are building software mainly around an end-to-end solution, robust solution in the arena of billing automation. And I'm happy to be here today.
Do you want to maybe share a little bit about what inspired you to tackle subscription and billing and what's exciting you about the space right now?
So overall, when we started in the space Rebilia, or under the umbrella of Rebilia, we had quite a few different products that is the arena of subscription, recurring revenue, and checkout. And we have started our journey in the retail, moving to e-commerce. That's when we learned firsthand about really the need to retention, really the need of once you bring a client, cost of acquisition, especially nowadays, is so costly, then the goal is really retain and satisfy the client to make him stay. More than that, I think that literally in the next 2 years, that's when we develop our latest product. The world is really moving to more become on demand. Everything is on demand, which is exactly the opposite of subscription, right? Subscription is something that you do in a very recycly way. And clients are not in that set of mind nowadays. Clients are moving to what they want now. And that's where we came with the new version of Rebilia, where we really taking those two growing concepts, an on-demand client, customer-centric approach, be all about your client and what they want, and combine it with the concept of subscription. While combining those two concepts, we allow both the merchant and the user to control the subscription in a way that everything is adjustable, everything is flexible, and the client can really pick and choose what they want and enjoy the full offering of the merchant. And we will get into it even behind just the full offering to really have a whole world of what they want when they want it. So overall, if you're trying to dig deeper into what we're doing, we allow our merchant to become way more customer-centric. Think about their client, what make them stay, what make them evolve, and give it to them. And for the client, we helping the merchant to help the client to just get better understanding of the full offering, always have the best deal that possible, always have the full options. So the client, his needs are satisfied and is happy to stay within the specific platform or in the specific website or any other way that our merchant convert clients. So we are aiming to more conversion, more retention, and we also reducing the churn to create more loyalty between the two entities.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Can you give a bit of an example of what this might look like for a business? Like I'm sure most people are very familiar with subscription-based pricing models, but the way you're describing the future direction of on-demand is really interesting. Do you have any examples you might be able to give to help understand a little bit more?
I have tons of examples, and I think what fascinated about Rebilia that we are not vertical centric. The way we're trying to rethink the world is that our software is matched to any client, any business. But to give you one specific example, which it's an example that I always use, if you take the coffee industry, right? Normally a coffee subscription is just every month you can choose a type of coffee that you like, black coffee, instant coffee, And then let's say every month, every 3 weeks, whatever time or frequency you choose for a specific price, that's how your subscription gonna look like, just repetitive. However, in real life, you don't necessarily drink the same amount of coffee in the winter as you are probably in the summer. You might want a variety. You maybe have a house member or anyone that like the vanilla flavor or the medium roast, etc. And you might want to try different things. You also might be traveling and you might not be in the same location all the time. So that's where we kind of break this whole description limitation from its part, I guess. And every component of the subscription is changeable. So let's say that for the first 3 months, you can choose the black coffee that will come to your house every 2 weeks. And then during the summer, you might even be able to have a different flavor of coffee, and you can set this up front. You might be traveling during the summer, so you might want that component of things to go to a different location. There's must be bonding deal that you want to be a part of, so you can subscribe and resubscribe and change your subscription basically throughout the life cycle of the subscription all the time. More than that, as a coffee merchant, I can offer different offerings that not necessarily under my umbrella. So one of our biggest features is multi-channel. When me as a coffee merchant can combine my business or can create a partnership with a milk vendor or oat milk vendor, sugar, whatever it is, might be interesting to the client and allow the client just have it all in one place. And we find it a very appealing method for the client. And we find out that the client stayed content and just like to stay on the subscription when things get very relevant to him. And that's how our merchant grow the business, stay relevant, be able to sell more products, whether if that's their own offering or through partnerships, and just increase in general their offering and abilities. And on that method, this is just an e-commerce example, but if you think of the same method, there's so many industries actually that open the door to a new edge of subscription. If you think of the car industry, the automotive industry, the hotel industry start thinking right now of subscription model and they try different varieties. That's where I see a lot of entities from the hospitality coming over and dig to different methods of how to rethink of subscription, right? Because think of hospitality, one industry that do it all to make you happy, but they don't do enough to make you come back, right? No one necessarily want to come back to the same place, the same location, but definitely like to elaborate on the experience. Another thing for the customer, it's a very annoying thing to really looking for a new vacation or a new hotel or a new hospitality component time after time. So this is a new industry that right now we operating with to think of different partnership, different subscription. Same thing as I said with the automotive cars today are on subscription. They're moving, especially with the luxury car now, but I think all car industry moving that way, that it's not about buying a car anymore, not even doing a lease. It's about having a subscription and be able to change the car based on your needs, even daily. So let's say you have a family member coming in and you like to take him to enjoy the city. Maybe you want, the 2-seat open roof, but then another day you have your whole family coming over and then that's where you change into the 7-seaters. When you travel, you don't have to go and rent a car. You just use your subscription and go in and picking up on another car. We also have a component of multi-user throughout the subscription. So maybe you can add a user, someone else that can go and take over different component of your subscription. So this is kind of how we break the subscription from its part and thinking of the client's need. And more than that, allowing merchant to think on their client's needs.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've never heard of such a comprehensive structure that it's so customized, because I'm thinking about it. If I have a subscription for something, I might cancel it because it's not exactly what I need anymore. But if it was a smaller volume, maybe I would have been interested in keeping it and I wouldn't have canceled. But having the customizability is so interesting to me because there's no reason to cancel if you can make it exactly fit the client or the user's needs. So that's incredible. Do you know if any other companies are offering this sort of model, or is this unique to Rebilia?
It's unique to Rebilia.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. I was actually wondering because I know there's so many fintech or payment solutions out there. So I was a bit curious about how you guys differentiate in the market. If you want to touch on that a little bit, that would be great. But it seems like you guys have a huge leg up with this new model.
Yes, and there's certain, well, actually, I think that another unique thing is that instead of building a whole new software solution that is just this and that, I think that I have an amazing team to think of features that always help the merchant to think of the client. That's basically what we do. This
Yeah.
is not necessarily about what is the big next thing, but a lot of what we're doing is we're thinking of the client, but when our main client is actually the merchant, and we help him to rethink their client.
Yeah, it's very first principles approach. I think that's so unique because it's so easy to get stuck in what's common. Oh, a subscription is when you pay the same thing every month and you don't think about questioning the model. It's there, it works. But if you go back and you think about, oh, what's the actual point of a recurring model is to help the person with their needs. And exactly what you said, like the way you've structured it is it's so much more helpful to the merchant and to the client than just having a standard solution. And on that note, how do you guys have any sort of analytics or features that help merchants better understand their clients and their data?
That wasn't my next point exactly. We are less about what is it that we think, and we are less try to analyze our clients. We keep coming up with features that helping our merchants to analyze, understand, and match to their unique clients. And we do it by, we have a great component of AI that not just helping to analyze the client, the main user,
Mm-hmm.
but also allowing to answer his needs from a perspective of different aspects. So sometimes when we bring up features, this is not necessarily here's about another feature that will make money for Rebilia. A lot of our features are just features that will help our merchant to understand their user better, serve them better. And we believe that if you take this, as we speak, customer-centric approach, and you help your merchant grow and satisfy their client, the client will stick with the merchant will grow and create more loyalty with us. So this is kind of a very unique approach, I believe, that we're trying to emphasize. And that's why we think we are exactly the opposite to subscription, right? Because the first thought that when you say subscription is those old models when you get into some program that you can not get out of. And that's the first thing that a client asks when he's getting into subscription, right? How can I cancel? Where do I skip? Let me take a little note of when is the day that I must stop the subscription, which is very not appropriate to clients, and some merchants still interested in that specific service, and that's their right to do. However, there's plenty of merchants that doesn't want to bring this approach and want to take a new and progress approach. However, they can because they not rely on subscription software that provide what we provide, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the merchant is also limited, and that's the limitation that we're trying to break.
Okay, super interesting. And I noticed you guys have a new partnership with UPS. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit about that and what that means for your clients?
So this is another example how we are not necessarily just trying to create features that just are money centric, let's call it that way. So we have a new partnership with UPS Capital, and with that partnership, we providing a really great win-win because we allow in a click of a button for our merchants to start utilizing the product of Insure Shield, which protects their clients' shipment on subscription base. So one of the biggest problems in e-commerce and subscription is that once products are shipped, probably if they shipped once or have one type of shipping or one type of product that is recurring, a lot of people don't do protection. And if they do, they either don't have it or do it exactly with combined to the specific order they have. What we allow on is a very flexible shipping plan that tied to the very specific order that they're about to get, right? Because if the product could change, then different shipping and different type of protection need to be tied to it. So this is kind of our unique ability that we allow in within the arena of shipping protection. And what I love about it, that UPS Capital offering a very great level of protection. Everything is super easy. Claims are approved in really few days. The main client really enjoy it. The merchant enjoy it. It's super affordable, but it's allowing the main client to enjoy a protection, the merchant to enjoy the protection, and the cost is so minimal that everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah, obviously you guys are masters of churn and retention and keeping clients happy. So I was also curious about acquisition. What sort of marketing techniques do you guys use, or how, for example, did you foster that relationship with UPS?
So I will tell you upfront, our marketing techniques are do not try them at home. I don't know that necessarily this is a match for everybody, but I think that the way things worked out with Rebilia and especially with the new product is that we have not end up focusing a lot in sales and marketing and definitely not in the traditional channel. I think that we evolve into we evolved from a pretty solid, I would say, subscription project. We had a specific line of subscription that been pretty solid and pretty flexible, but not as unique as what I told you as now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last few years, we just realized how the world is changing and we wanted to change with the world. So this is how we kind of start creating this new product. We invested a lot in R&D.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, maybe do not try that at home as well. So we invest in to bring the product, I would say, to perfection. And we have not put enough of input in the general sales and marketing. However, we have started an era in our office of hosting different programs, helping the community. With time, I created some tech community. So I'm right now managing a tech community that is just a kind of a paid forward program. We're just meeting together and talking about things. And this is just for founders like us to be able to connect locally, not virtually and not digitally, but really to create a learning system where people can rely on each other, help each other. And this is something that we really believe in. And this is how we start spreading the word about Rebilia with no actually specific attention. We have started creating those gatherings. We have actually, for this specific, we have donated our office to a youth program about entrepreneurship in the audience of one of the children. It was for teenagers. We found out with times that a lot of those teenagers that come in for entrepreneurship program and leadership have parents that come in from leadership and tech and entrepreneurship. So that's how we created a network. One thing to another, we've been enrolled into a few networking events, creating our own events that bringing people together, a lot of volunteering. We have rolled into a specific program here in Atlanta that it's called Run It by the Barriers. It's by FinTech Atlanta for this example. And it's bringing startups, entrepreneurs, C-level corporates together. So it's kind of buyers, the corporate side of things, and sellers, the startups. And the goal is kind of to tell about your startup and for them to ask questions. And that's how we have met UPS by explaining about our products. They had the need. We had the right solution. We started a conversation. Actually, in that specific day, there was another big corporate that been interested in what we're doing, and we start navigating through that program as well. So this is kind of how we do things. We are less about here I am and here's my marketing approach. We are more out and about, talking with people, trying to help, trying to see what we can contribute, which is sometimes not a lot, right? Bigger companies, they sometimes donate money and they do big events for children. We are not in that capacity, but we're always thinking, what is it? What is the little bit that we could do as a company where everybody in the company can donate 10% of their time towards helping others or towards other missions that are not necessarily Rebilia, and we find out those always bring more value that we ever thought of. So this is one of the ways we market our products. I find out people always said it's not enough to have a great product, and it's true, it's really not enough. But in our case in specific, I think we end up with pretty great product. And for many entities, we have found out that people had to dig through a specific solution. Once again, that's not a guarantee. It might not work for others, but in this specific case, it's worked. We have created a really great product. We put it out there, and people happens to reach out and look up for and dig really, really deep into the specifics of what is it that we're doing. And that's how we got a lot of our outbound clients. So that's been a huge part of our success.
Yeah, I think that approach is really smart because a lot of companies might think we need to market ourselves, get ourselves out there before really even focusing on whether what they have is good. It's so often you see a company that has an okay product, but they're just pushing marketing. And that leads to like kind of unsatisfied clients, and they're burning through the market because they're just marketing everywhere and they're not focusing on keeping their own clients happy. But it seems like you really focus on creating, like you said, client-centric approach that speaks for itself. And I'm sure you get a lot of referrals because your clients probably are happy, and that leads to nice word of mouth organic growth, which I think is what every business wants, but it's so hard for people to achieve sometimes. So I think that's actually very admirable.
Well, all I will say is that nothing here is super pink, right? It's still a lot of
Of
hard
course.
work, but we definitely aiming to try to look at our clients, and we definitely growing pretty organically, and we're all about relationship. That's 100% true. Whether if this is the big next thing and that's what bring the success or not, we're still trying to aim to as much relationship as possible, still trying to market our product in different ways and bring people together. And I think, at least for now, this method kind of brought great things. Can speak for the future, right? If you want to grow at some point, you will have to put a lot more than that out there. But as a
Building the foundation is important, though, I think, for sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think also we build in that kind of culture within our internal way and point of view, I guess.
Yeah, it builds trust too, so that when people find you, it's not so difficult to win people over if you've already shown value that you bring and you've built that community and the trust there. It's a lot easier, I think, for people to trust you as a company to help them when you're so open with everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I was curious if you are speaking to, let's say, a SaaS founder or a merchant who maybe isn't one of your clients, what's the number one mistake you see them make that you can help them avoid?
A lot of the time I see clients talking about their product, what their product is doing, and themselves, I would say. And I think that there's a new approach out there that need to be taken. I think the goal is to really speak about your client pain points
Mm-hmm.
and what your product will do for your clients.
Yeah.
So this is less about this is the product, this is what we have, this is what we achieve. We are number one on Google, satisfying customers. That's very nice, and those are great credentials. But I think what the client is looking always to see is we understand this type of frustration. We'll
Yeah.
solve it by this. We will do this and that for you. And by the way, we are number one on Google as well.
Yeah. So like focusing on outcomes instead of features almost. Like
Exactly.
you're not selling that oh, we have this data analytics tool and we have this chatbot and blah, 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 blah. We help you do this because we know this is a problem and here's how we can help, is like
Yes,
how I kind of
this is
perceive
our
that.
data analytics tool will make a change in your pain point, and this chatbot will help you with this and that problem. Exactly. And then this is all about putting yourself in the shoe of the client, understand their need, and be there for them.
Are there any challenges that you've experienced with growing the company and starting from scratch to where you are now? Like, what are some of the biggest things you've really had to overcome as a company?
How long do you have? There's so many. I mean, in general, the whole concept of entrepreneurship, it is not for
It's not for the weak.
it's not for the weak at all. It is a roller coaster. There's the lowest lows and the highest highs. But one of the challenges that we have had to overcome is that when this whole new economic side of things started, right? The economy kind of inflation, economy, this is all about microeconomy right now. Merchants have to work with a tighter budget. So that's kind of increased the competition. Uh, and this is one challenge I think everybody in the world is have to go through right now. But I think one great way um, to work it out, been through thinking of how do we stand out from the crowd and what is it that we're doing to help our clients to go and to maneuver this those timings. And we have realized that our product is all about retention. That is exactly what clients need right now. It's all about LTV. How we take this shakiness time and create stability,
Yeah.
not for us again, but for them, which create a stability
Yeah.
for us. And how this whole arena of lifetime value, added value, and looking over the client can not just, as we speak, increase conversion, but also reduce churn. So if you reduce the churn and you increase conversion and you creating some stability for your clients, that's where you gain their trust and you can overcome situations like today's.
So before we go, I just wanted to know, what are the next big goals for Rebilia in 2025? What's exciting this year?
Well, there's quite a few of exciting things that already start to going on. I don't necessarily can talk about everything, but we starting some exciting partnerships with a few enterprise partners. So this is one big thing. We're taking it one step at a time, of course. And we having a few new features that are also really kind of in the line of, as we speak, customer centric approach, bringing a lot of features that related to ecosystem and creating more partnership for our clients. So this is something huge that we are waiting for and waiting to launch. And Also in general, we have quite a few great new clients. So we're happy about that, as well as keep viewing the growth of our current clients. So this is something that we really enjoy. At every end of the year, we're measuring the growth of the client, and I think for many it's have not been a casual year. So kind of to see that we help them with subscription to get some of their goals. This is something that we really enjoy every end of the year, and we're waiting for the numbers of the next year to come.
Awesome. And where can listeners find you or connect with you if they have any questions about Revelia or want to learn more?
Sure thing. So I'm personally a very open networker. So always happy to answer through LinkedIn. As well, we can always find us on the website rebilia.com, rebillia.com. Always happy to answer a message. We have a pretty cool uh, chat that will designate the conversation to me if someone just easily type in like to talk with Moran after reviewing her on Christina's podcast. So no problem.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you.